All right, so with our lovely two beauties, so Miss J and Mr. B do live together at home. Ready, cuteness? Oh, good shake off. She's like, I'd rather be a naked woman. Ready? Come on up. So this is their first time practicing a little bit with the tethers. I was just trying to see if I could get them to practice a little bit where you've been having some struggles with the two kind of doing their thing and then safely being able to engage with chews or do their own activities while also not bombarding each other. Ready, Jojo? So what we're going to try to work on today is kind of building up where your babes could be rocking their two little spots, and then throughout their practice have chews or other venues for activities. So this is just in the beginning right now, just trying to get her comfortable hopping up and checking out some of these targets on the mat. Nice job, cutie. So with Miss J, she's got a couple chews, different items to kind of work on. Same thing with Mr. B. Ready? So we might go and work our little bed. So right now, we're not necessarily taking turns in the sense like I know I shared a video with you just a few moments ago. So with taking turns, this would be where, for example, your beauties could be working. For example, one is out working with you on leash. I'm just going to kind of make a little bit of the bone a little bit more intriguing for a second for Mr. B. He's doing a good job having some nice little crunchy snacks. Here you go. Good job, sir. And drop the snack. So when working with your beauties, I would recommend to practice, like I mentioned a little bit last week, a little bit of individual time. Ready? Jojo, come on up. Good girl. So a little bit of individual time can be really helpful. So you kind of build up the skills that you'd like them to have. So when you go to practice together, they're more cozy trying it. If Miss J is a little bit unsure, I might just go into a couple little find-its for her. So they don't have to necessarily use a target spot. For some babes, it can help because they do enjoy using the visual. Ready, Bodie? Bed. So if, let's say, you're all by yourself, the benefit of sometimes either using like a tether system or, for example, using, a gated section is you could work each boy and girl individually while still working against some safety near each other. So if, let's say, for example, Miss J has never really done the tether, don't worry. You could also use a baby gate. Ready, Jojo? You could use a couple different other configurations. The main goal is that you're building up that being near each other. Doesn't have to always be, bombarding one with another. And then also looking to the other puppy's individual, goodies as something they should go check out. Nice. So right now we're just building up that while one puppy's kind of chilling. Ready, Jojo? We could have the other puppy do a few other skills. You want to do some find-its? Nice job, cutie. She's like, let me have all the stinky snacks. Good job. So we're just doing a few little find-its for her on her little dog bed. Ready, Bodie? Sorry, I got a little tickle all of a sudden. Ready? We'll do a little find-it. I'm not eating dog snacks. I just needed to grab a cough drop because I feel like when the heat is rocking, it makes my throat a little dry. So here we're going to put a few little goodies into his bone, because what my goal would be is obviously when you're first starting this, they might just be kind of doing their own thing. And I'm sorry if sometimes I'm a little bit out of camera shot. I was trying to make it where they could both have their own little bubbles and not have to worry about them getting too close and overwhelming each other. So when your babes have items, I would recommend to have some sections where there's safety to do so. Like, I know we mentioned having your X pens or using a baby gate, whatever little configuration seems to make sense. Ready? Bodie, we might do a little find it on his dog bed. Nice. So what I'm just trying to build up is that good stuff can happen while we're near each other. So if sometimes you work a few skills with one, I would give some activities for the other babe to work on. So that way, maybe while she, for example, is hanging out on her little zone, Mr. B could work a couple little stay moments. So I might try right here with him, work a little stay. And they're both really pooped out because Mr. B was wrestling with the other two younger puppies, and he really loves playing with the flirt pole, so he did a little bit of play. And Miss Lovely's like, why am I here and what is going on? Ready? We'll do a little find it. So for the little lady, while she's working a couple find its, I could then reinforce Mr. B for holding his position. So chewing is still optional. You got it okay, sir? Oh my goodness. He has to sit up to maybe cough it up. So when practicing, you can see that tethering could be another potential safe way to practice both puppies at the same time. So that way you don't have to worry about what if I'm working with one gets up from their place behavior and then comes to bombard you with either excitement or whatever. So this way, you can start to build up that maybe the babes rocking a few individual skills near each other can still be really safe and comfortable. So like with Miss Lovely, we might work a few little moments. So Jojo, ready? Yes, nice little name recognition. So we might work a little bit with our gorgeous gal. Ready, Jojo? Yes, nice check-in. So tethering could be a fine option too, where now Mr. B, while he's enjoying that little snack and she got a couple little find its and name recognition, I'm gonna go ahead and feed him for hanging out. So that way while they're taking turns, the babe that's maybe vegging is the one that again also gets a paycheck for holding back, while the other babe might be doing some find its or some play later down the road. So as we start to build up a little bit of both tethered, then you'd end up working where maybe one would come off of the tether and be on a leash. So that way, if let's say we are dealing with resource guarding, sometimes from Miss J, it could be one of those things where she can't go and bombard him while he's then tethered or vice versa. So we want to make sure for safety reasons, we're not setting up any of the babes for failure by having one babe go and bombard the other that feels stuck. So you could be doing this in the crate, the corral, whatever seems to work with a baby gate. Ready, Jojo? Here. So great little recall for her. Yes. And since she's been doing such a nice job, I'm going to go and feed Mr. B for doing such a good job hanging out. Nice. So he's also getting some reinforcements for just being in the space, and then also working a bit with going to that, again, his cot and hanging out with a chew toy. Nice. If he were to get up and wiggle, no big deal. But what we're just trying to build up is that sometimes hanging out together doesn't always have to be intimacy in the sense of what's she up to or what's he doing, and then bombarding each other. Ready? Want to do a little find it? So we'll try a little find it, and we'll try a little bit. Ready? Jojo. Yes. So I would definitely start with a very easy criteria. So like they mentioned in the other video that I sent along to you, is make sure you're not going right into like wild activities. Like if Miss J loves to play fetch or tug, I wouldn't start with that while Mr. B is working his place behavior. Because the problem with that is then we might escalate his excitement while she's doing something kind of cool. Ready, Jojo? Jojo's like, I heard a funny noise in the building. Ready? Oh, nice job, cutie. So I might lure her and I might try again, bed. Yes. So maybe she could be working on the beginning stages of just targeting her mat if let's say that's her comfort range for now, and then have it where while he's chilling on his target spot, he can get another little bonus bit for holding there his place. And I might bring over some of his toys because he does tend to have them roll off by accident. So here we go, another little chew bone for you, sir. So if let's say our little lady is getting more comfortable, you can work it where let's say your puppy is busy there. Let's say I wanted to try a little bit with my gorgeous gal, like say going on her lead and doing a little bit with some loose leash walking while he's doing his own thing, then that could be another great option. So this is where the tether can be really nice because now you didn't have any loose pups while you were practicing two different maybe exercises. So with Miss J, I'm just going to try a little bit with meandering. Nice, Jojo. Feed for again being by the side. If Miss J were to get a little intrigued by her brother or vice versa, I might again get her attention. If Mr. Handsome is interested, I might do a little find it and get him to move away. So sometimes you can also practice a little bit with both. Ready, Jojo? Up. Nice job. She's like, it's an obstacle course. Ready, find it? Good job. So if Mr. B were to get up and let's say he's struggling, the nice thing about having your lovely tether system is let's say, again, we were doing a couple little loop-de-loops with Miss J, but then let's say he got up and wiggled, I'm going to have him go back to his little bed, see if I can rehab him target this place behavior. And remember, in the beginning, it doesn't have to be the most beautiful thing you've ever done. You're just trying to build up good associations that while they're hanging out together, nothing too stressful or scary has occurred. Nice. We might get a little sit from him. Gorgeous. I'm going to feed him for that lovely response. And then we might do a couple little puppy push-ups so we won't get that lovely down from Mr. B. He's like, my brain's melted slightly. There we go. Good job, sir. So remember when working with multiple dogs, it can be, guys, darn this tether, it can be really nice to practice for little moments at a time. I wouldn't do this so long that they both get really fatigued or a little too overwhelmed. Miss J's like, I'd rather be a naked woman. I know she prefers to have no harness, but she's still doing a very nice job in her equipment. So now that Mr. B is kind of rocking a little bit with his little settle here, and again, he was playing earlier, so he's like working up a good pant. He loves the flirt pole. So maybe from here, I might try and tell him to stay. And then I might just practice moving around and just build up good, comfortable little moments for him while he's in his little target spot. So this is where individual practice is so crucial to see like where's each puppy at for their comfort range and then go from there. So with Miss J, if let's say she got a little tangled, ready? Come on out. Nice, I'm just gonna help her out. So and obviously tethering should only be done when like you're supervising. If your babe is really flustered by being attached to something, for some of those babes, it could be better to do the baby gate or corral, or even the crate if they're more comfortable with being crated. We just want to make sure that when they're in a spot where they feel maybe a little bit stuck, that we're not allowing the other dog that might be off gear to go bombard them while they're feeling sort of in that little moment where they may feel there's no out. So again, I'm just going to try a little bit with Miss J. Ready? Bed? Nice. Good girl. She's like, oh, so exhausting. So if Mr. B starts to go woo-woo, no worries. Ready? Jojo. I'll do another little find it for you. So if he starts going woo-woo and he's a little bit unsure what to do, I'm just going to ask him for another little skill. So if let's say he's barking because he's like feeling a little bit left out, I'm not going to go right into feeding him, even though he's doing a nice job with his place behavior. I'm going to see if I can get another little skill, like let's say a lie down or maybe eye contact. If let's say he was getting a little tired, I might say all done, get him up, get him to break from his little bed position. Nice. And then try once more. Ready? Bed. Nice. I'm just going to go ahead and we'll work a little stay with him. So again, stay. So if let's say he's doing a pretty good job, I might include, like you guys have been doing previously in class, is a little bit of movement. Chewing is still optional. So right here, I can feed the handsome guy, create a little bit of wiggles. And Miss J's just doing a great job hanging out. She's just looking around in the environment. There's some funny noises. You got it okay? So while he's just kind of chilling, we're feeding for some of this nice little setup on his dog bed. Miss J's just hanging out with us. What a good girl. Beautiful. So if you're taking it at their rate, it should seem attainable, to be in their little spots and feel comfortable. So if let him, Miss J, ready? You want to do a little find it? Get her up. Oh, went right in the crack. Maybe she'll have to go search for those bad boys instead. There we go. Those ones are much more attainable than the one that goes into the crack. So if let's say he's doing a real nice job with some of this place behavior, working a bit with that stay. I'm just going to move his toys out of the way again so he can lay down without laying on one of the toys. And again, I'm going to rock that stay. Oh my goodness, panting and chewing is so hard. So obviously you'll see that sometimes you're going to tweak it a little bit. So if one of them is having a little bit of a harder time being stationary, they could be doing some find its, they could be working some puppy push-ups. You just want to make sure that when we're engaging with both the boys and girls near each other is that nothing is too flustering. So like right now, they're both doing a pretty good job. Mr. B is rocking his little place behavior. He every once in a while loses a toy or a chew item, but not the end of the world. Miss Lovely over here can still rock ready a couple little find its. And if let's say being stationary for her when she's first starting is a little overwhelming, movement behaviors are just fine. Nice. So you'll kind of tweak it based off of their comfort ranges. So now he's busy. Again, he was doing a little bit of licking. If he goes to break, no big deal, but we might start again. So ready? Bodie, bed. Nice. Very good. Smart man. Yes. So when practicing, just take it down into little tidbits. If, again, we're struggling, maybe, again, work a softer skill first and go from there. So we're going to try a little bit with Mr. B, just rocking his place behavior here. Nice. We'll see if he's interested in some of these different chew toys. And while he's hanging out, oh my goodness, he's always dropping his toys. Ready? So we may try a little Jojo. Ready? Oh, very nice job going on the dog bed. Smart girl. So if your babes are, again, just taking their time and figuring out the dynamic, this is, again, a much safer way than having you by your lonesome. If your spouse or family member or someone's available and each one of you can have one of the babes, you can also practice some of these skills that way too. Ready? So we'll bring Mr. B back to his bed. We'll get a little sit. Nice. Maybe put my leash down for a moment. Good job. So, but tethering could be another fine option to help your puppy practice. He's like leash wedgie. So when we have a little leash wedgie, I just help him come over this way. Nice. Good job. We'll make that little sit. Beautiful. But remember, if tethering is still a little awkward to them, don't go right into rushing it with both. You may find at home you have to help generalize the skill. Mr. B says, I'm exhausted, so I'm just going to yell a little bit. So if your babes are really struggling with something, break it down into smaller steps. Try another softer behavior and go from there. So I'm going to try a little bit with his stay for a second. Miss J's just kind of hanging out watching the adventure. Nice. But sometimes this is good practice too, because then while his sibling might be doing something else off to the side, he can then practice his sort of watching you, checking in, and doing another behavior like his place. Nice. What a smart boy. I know they're doing a very nice job. And obviously this could build up to like when you saw the taking turns video potentially is where they could be off gear working this on a target spot. But if we're dealing with resource guarding or dealing with sometimes problematic behaviors, which again could be natural, but could be a little exaggerated depending on our dog's social spectrum. She says, I saw something. She's like, I swear there's something in here. There's nothing in the other room, but she maybe heard a little noise. So with your babes, definitely break it down into achievable steps. Make sure you're gauging your babe's body language. So like Miss J is just busy exploring the environment, nothing bad. But if you're finding that your babes are not doing so well or their body language is starting to be a little bit more overwhelmed or flustered, oh my goodness, chew them, sir. Ready? Jojo, we might do a little find it. So, but chewing is still an optional scenario for Mr. Handsome. Nice. So we'll stay again. Gorgeous. She's like, I would also like to go check out his snacks. Ready? Find it. Nice. I know. Where are you going? He's like, I swear there's a crumb. We're just going to fix his little leg so we're not as tangled. There we go, sir. Ready? We'll do another little find it. So with the beauties, when practicing, see how they're feeling, gauge it by day. But I think tethering could be a potential other than just doing, for example, your crates or your baby gates or your corrals. But when starting it, do easy skills they both feel comfortable offering and practice a little individual and then sometimes then together too. Ready? We'll do a little find it. Nice. Ready? Jojo? Find it. Good job. Ready, Bodie? So we'll do a little sit. Yes. So that way we can sometimes rotate. Maybe we'll try a little down. So we'll work some puppy push-ups. Yes. Smart boy. Good job. Ready, Jojo? We might try a little touch. Nice. Good job. She's like, I don't know if I like the heart snacks as much as the other ones. Well, how about we bust out some cheese? So ready? We'll get another little sit. Yeah, what a good girl. You can have the cheese. There you go, cutie. So this could be another great option too, is sometimes just if let's say the cots are not really their favorites in the beginning. Oh, so close. Ready? We can do a little find it. And then that way you kind of help create some distance. Ready? Jojo, we'll do a little find it. She's like, oh, so much walking. So you guys may also find that maybe he has more stamina at times for certain skills and she has more for others. Nice job with your bed. But maybe what we'll do is we'll give the beauties a little breather from each other and work some individual skills. But I would try a little bit with this and we'll work it a little bit too next week and then see if we can build in some movement. So like having one baby kind of hanging out and then the other one working a few skills and then rotate. But since this is their very first time practicing it, I just wanted to take their time with it and make sure it wasn't too flustering. Ready, Bodie? So we'll do a little find it and then ready, Miss J? Ready, Jojo? But both of them did a really nice job, you know, being in their little zones for their very first rodeo, giving this a shot. Do another little find it for the handsome guy. And then we'll take a little breather and we'll rotate once more.